and that's in the court. So there is a definite fault problem in the bay. We don't know how many there are. They're great numbers from the work that has been done there. None of these, except the one, are noted by Weaver Cove, and nothing about the local earthquakes or their studies have been done.
Thank you, Doctor, and I will note that you have provided us with a very substantial submission along with your testimony, and I appreciate it greatly, your assistance in this matter and your expertise. Thank you, sir. Next, I'm going to call up Mr. Robert Oliveira. And again, I am going to be stricter in the time levels without any sort of denigration intended. I think all of the folks beforehand either were representatives or had an expertise. Now we are having public comment, which is valuable to us, but nonetheless, I am going to ask it to be maintained at a shorter level. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Oliveira.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the honorable staff. My name is Robert Oliveira. I reside at 18 Longmeadow in the great town of Middletown here in Rhode Island. For today's conversation, it's important that you know that I'm the Vacation Sales Director at the Newport Bay Club. I also serve as the VP of Communications for a firm called Aqua Phoenix, where we do Homeland Security, specifically Brown Water Navy. I want to thank all those folks who came out today to show how much they care about the Bay and how passionate they are. Unfortunately, that passion has led them to make some statements that are untrue, some that are vicious, and some that are, well, laughable. In 1944, black folks couldn't vote, women didn't have the right to choose, and the Dick Van Dyke Show was still 15 years off, but we're supposed to accept that as the common state of security now. According to the previous testimony, when this 5.5 earthquake comes, we don't have to worry about dredging because all that stuff in the sediment is going to be shaken loose. I appreciate passion, and living on the Bay as I do, I love all of you for bringing it forward. But when you say those things, you hurt tourism. When you talk about explosions that are not going to happen, you hurt tourism. And if you really want to fix tourism, don't worry about bridge closings. Get the toll back to where it was. Now, having said that, and I don't want to go point by point on all of those things, we can do that out in the paid media. I will also say to you very clearly as a supporter of this project, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, for opening the door and allowing me to say this. I am a supporter of the project, and I haven't met anyone as arrogant as Gordon Scherer. What I asked the Commission, what I asked the task force to do is put that arrogance aside and stick to the hard science. Put the shrillness aside of their responses, which have been terrible, and stick to the hard science. And let me give you one for instance why, and I'll close with this. Right now, in front of the General Assembly is a bill to limit bridge clearances for ships. Now, first of all, the Coast Guard may say that that's not their purview, but we'll allow it for this moment. If that bill were to pass, in order to stop this project, you also would have killed Newport's chance to get the America's Cup, because in order to have the America's Cup, we're going to have to put a facility north of the bridge, and your bridge clearance won't allow for that. Again, I appreciate the passion of those that don't like this project. I appreciate those that find personality problems with the folks that put this project forward. But the hard science is clear. And one last note. Please walk up to somebody that doesn't have a job right now and tell them that, well, I could give you a temporary job, but it's only temporary, therefore I won't do it. Can you imagine their reaction? Temporary jobs is also arrogant and should be stricken from our vocabulary. If we stick to the science, we will work this out as Rhode Islanders. We always have. But if we allow ourselves to get involved in emotionalism and the Bay getting swallowed, or blowing up, or gas clouds running down into Freetown and killing everyone, we're just going to look silly. It is time to bring the debate back to the science. And it is your charge, Mr. Chairman, to rein it in and hopefully keep us to the truth, because that's where the true result will be. I thank you for the time today.